Good morning. So for today's Facebook Live, I am actually pre-recording this. And the reason being is because we're going to want to share a tip. Today is Tuesday, so it's going to be Tip Tuesday and how to get started with Snapchat. I was planning actually on doing something else, but I got a notification that one of the filters that I created last week for the Women in Analytics conference is trending, has reached over 10,000 views or plays, over 10,000 something. And I was like, okay, let me just do this because it's really not that difficult. And what's great about when you get started on using one particular platform, if you have an interest in building augmented reality experiences, whether it's for marketing like Snapchat or other purposes like maybe Sumerian and other platforms that I'm not personally familiar with. I've noticed like for the ones that I have encountered with and have worked with, like Lens Studio, Spark AR, and Amazon Sumerian, there's a lot of similarities. And so it kind of, once you kind of get the feel for one, you kind of are able to navigate the other ones. So what we're going to do, our Facebook Live today is me recording this presentation and then I'll play it. And the reason I'm doing the pre-recording is because we're using Lens Studio. And sometimes this takes a few minutes for everything to load. And it's even been known to crash on me a couple of times, which is really frustrating. And that's not something you want to happen on Facebook Live. The premise of this is actually also two birds, one stone, for the GTech Summit that I am presenting at on August 3rd, next Tuesday maybe. So that's kind of what this is about. I am creating a filter. I'm actually going to publish it with this recording, and it's just going to be promotion for the GTech Summit. This is something I'm doing. This is why I like to do. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started and go ahead and get that down. So what I've already done is some of the prep work. I just went to Canva and I did, wrote something out, made something in Canva. This isn't one a big Canva tutorial, but Canva is great. And what I downloaded is a PNG file with a transparent background and a GIF file. So it's got some animation. Okay, so this is Lens Studio. You can download it from free. You just Google Snapchat Lens Studio and you'll be able to find it with instructions. You do need pretty good internet speed though. So that's just as an FYI. If you're not in a place where you have good internet speed, you need to be somewhere where you have better internet speed. Okay. You do need a Snapchat account. This is not meant to cover all like the basics of getting acclimated and using Lens Studio. That is a separate session altogether outside the scope of this. But what we are going to do is we're going to start working with templates. So if you have enough experience with Lens Studio, you may need to explore a little bit before you start doing this. If you want some advice on how to get started with the Lens Studio, I'll be more than happy to help you. So what I am looking for is a fun little filter like this. And these are all templates that you can see me scrolling down. And what's nice about these templates is that it does give you some ideas on the complexity and kind of what the template is about. So what we're going to do is hit Start Project. And this does take a few minutes. So, yeah, just got to bear with me. Okay, so we are now within the dashboard. I don't know if I'm saying that right thing. This is where we're going to make stuff dashboard may be the correct term. I'm not sure. Let's go over the layout a little bit, just quick. On the far left, you see objects. On the far left, you see resources. In the middle, you see the grid. The middle-ish towards the right, you see the inspector. And on the very far right, you see the preview. So this is obviously the preview, and what Snapchat or Lens Studio has, it has different persons that you can like still shots of somebody. So if there's a certain kind of demographic, ethnicity or anything that you want to do, you can, customize that. If you want, we're going to be doing hair, the filter, so you might want to see how something's going to look on dark hair. That's kind of, people have dark hair. I have dark hair. And there's also other things like animals and stuff, but that's outside the scope of what we're doing. Let's just put it on some girl with dark hair. Okay. So let's go ahead and add our assets, or resources is the term they use here. Other platforms use the word assets. So let's go ahead and hit the plus symbol, and we're going to click from files. And I already downloaded those files that I mentioned earlier. Just going to go ahead and upload those. Okay. So I think those are all the files that I'm going to be using. So what we're going to do now is let's play with the hair color first. So we got the hair color. And you can see it's one of the objects within Lens Studio. It's a segmentation object. That's what I was thinking of. Basically, just kind of change the aesthetics of it. So hair color controller, and it says edit me. Some you see what do not edit, so that's an indicator do not edit it. And so let's just focus on the ones that say edit me. Now, when you get braver, you can do the do not edits, but for our purposes, we're just going to stick with the instructions. So here's the script. What happens when it wakes up whenever you turn it on, more or less. You can see that there are two colors. There's a base color and there's a secondary color. You can select whatever colors you like. So you can use these basic colors. I've used these custom colors before for Hawking College. I grabbed the hex codes for Hawking College, so that's what these are based off of. Let's go ahead and grab the blue. I like the blue. Now you can choose if you want it on the roots, if you want it on the ends, and you can see that changing. It's kind of pretty. Or you can do the full head. Okay. You can also do a secondary color. So let's do the green. You can choose if you want to split. So you can see this side is more green, this side is more blue, or ombre, which it means it kind of gradually transitions from blue to green, it looks like. I'm going to stick it at that. If you wanted to transition the other way, you could hit swap. We're not going to worry about the advanced. That's not outside the scope of what we're focusing on. Okay. Now let's add, I want to include these GTech summits. How did that become 22? This is the naming thing. I don't know. Anyways, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a screen image. Yeah, screen image. So you can see when I open up a new object of a screen image, it pops up with some other objects. And again, it's just a concept of it's just a practice of getting used to this, but the more you do it, I promise the easier it gets. So screen image. So you'll notice as we click on different things on these objects and even on these resources, the inspector changes a little bit. This is like the details of whatever we have clicked on over here. So if I clicked on, this GTech Summit 2022, I'm not sure why it says 2022, but, I can see some details about that. Let's go ahead and go back to screen image here. And there's, again, just to kind of focus on the basics, there's a couple of different ways you can change this image. Right now, it's just the default placeholder. What I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the GIF and drag it over. Okay. So you can see it's a GIF, so it means it's got some animation. And the other indicators, the GIF's got that little yellow, orange triangle, and this one does not. The blend mode. So right now it's in front of their face. You can change that. You can play with that a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time doing this, but you can have some fun with it. Okay. So that's one way you can do it. The other way I want to do it, just for simplicity and time, is just go ahead. You can actually do this the other way. So if I want the PNG file, the transparent background, it doesn't have the animation. I'm going to change this back to normal. And what I can do now is I can, let's see, let's kind of keep it on the screen. Yeah, there we go. So you can see I'm moving it, I'm editing it here in the middle, and I can just, put that up on top and start to make it smaller. Okay. Let's see, might need to do some manual manipulation here. So I want it above the head. We'll leave it at that. It's probably not going to be my favorite, but it does the purpose. It does the job. Okay, so also, shoot, I'm just trying to center it. And I messed it up. Hit Alt or Control Z and do whatever I just did. Control Z, Control Z. There we go. I could see, hit Control Y to redo it. You can see where the segmentation kind of got blurry whenever it's moving things around. You can see that right there. Maybe that could be a cool effect if you want to keep it like that. That's fine. That's not what I want. So I just hit Control Z until this moves back to what I accidentally moved. Okay. Not my favorite, but we'll just keep going. It does a purpose. If I was doing it without doing the recording, I would probably change that design a little bit. Okay, but another thing, another object that we can add is makeup. So let's go ahead and go down to helper scripts. Shoot, helper scripts, makeup. Okay, so you can see it's automatically adding some new resources down here, and it'll eventually add another object for makeup. Give it a minute. Again, this is the reason I'm pre-recording. There we go. Okay. So you can, it says first face, you can actually, control which faces, you want to have touch up. So you can see it's a retouch, took out some of the, it's retouched it. Okay. I know there's been some controversy on whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. This is meant to be a fun thing. Okay. So you can take this extreme. The color, you can, like we did before, if you want to have some fun with this, you can. Let's see. Let's do that. Let's see. This should be changing her color lips. I'm not sure if it's just a bit of a delay or not. Let's do two colors, but not heavy. Let's go ahead and stick at that. Always like to add the eyebrows. Okay. Let's see if it looks different on another person. Okay. Still don't necessarily see the lip color, but you can see that the hair color, that's pretty. If you have blonde hair. I don't. Okay. So we made some simple changes. Now we're going to send it to Snapchat. This is where previously you would have connected your account, your Lens Studio to Snapchat. Again, that's kind of outside the scope of, this this tip on how to get started using a tutorial, or how to get started using it to a template. But if you have any questions on that, please let me know. So what we're going to do is send a Snapchat, and I cannot. Well, yeah, I can show you. So, okay, I don't know if you heard that, but got a little beep saying that my lens is ready to be previewed. Let's see if this camera is going to work. Yeah, okay. So, okay, let me turn this around, see how this looks on me. Okay. I'm not seeing the makeup. I'm not sure why the makeup's not working on there. I don't know. Sometimes the templates, sometimes some objects don't necessarily work well together. That could be an issue. I don't know. I'm not going to really take a deep dive onto it, but you can see. So I want to show you by flip. Okay. By flipping this around, you can see that, my hair is blue. And you can, I don't know. Okay. You can see that. The makeup filter is not working. I don't know if it doesn't want to work for this particular template. Sometimes that does happen. Let me see something else. Oh, yeah. Base index is 0. That's right. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not working. Again, sometimes it may not. Let's see if the logs tell me anything. Not really. Okay. That's outside the scope of what I want to take a deep dive in. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that because it does take up space. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this first face because it does take up space, which is what we're going to talk about next. So you see this number right here, 0.07 megabytes. Okay, this is good. Looks like it was also updated 12 months ago. Let's update it again. Okay. So you're allowed a maximum of 4 megabytes. And obviously, the larger the files, then sometimes there could be more of a lag on it. So, that's why if this isn't working, then I just want to remove it altogether. So now let's go ahead and get started to the project info. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just name it what it is. G-Tech Summit 2021. Now there isn't, you're only allowed so many characters, so this all fits, but just be aware you can't do a super long name. The size, 8 megabytes, sorry. Did they change that? They may have changed that. Anyways, it's 8 megabytes. It works on the front and rear camera. These I've not played with, so I don't really know much about them. I'm assuming they're classes of some sort. A hint, if you have something like when you open your mouth or when you look at something or say something, whatever, you can put that on here. This doesn't really require it, so we're going to leave that alone. This is something that you want to use because when you're in Snapchat and you see like the little circle thing and it tells you kind of gives you an idea of what it is, that's where this comes from. So you want to make sure you put something in there. You don't want to leave with the default and stuff. That's good enough. And hit apply. And then hit apply. And hit publish lens. Okay. Okay, make this smaller. All right. So you have an option between business lens and community lens. Business lens is meant for like paid ads. And so I can take this filter and submit it as a business lens as part of a paid marketing campaign. I'm not. I'm going to do community lens. So this is basically anybody can see it if they're looking for it, or sometimes Snapchat might somehow, provide that option automatically to a user if they think it might, match something that they have an interest in. Go ahead and hit submit new lens. So it's got its name. So some tags will help, if somebody's looking for something in particular, it'll help them find it. GTech Summit. I'm just going to use different variations of this. Okay. Genoa area schools. Okay. That's good enough. Scan triggers, it's going to look for a person. Public, yeah, it's public. You can put a lens preview in there if you want. I tend not to because it's just an extra step. And basically, you would just upload, take a picture of it, of yourself using the filter, and then upload it. Submit lens. And what's really nice about Snapchat and compared to like Spark AR, for example, which is used for Facebook and Instagram, is it's pretty much immediate that this is, public and available for anybody to look at it. Okay. Spark AR, they used to take 5 days, but they're getting faster. Now it's just like 1 day, but sometimes they will deny it because it's not because it's violating any kind of. The reason they would deny is they would if there's certain kind of text, like I've done one before where I had some text in there and all it did was just saying what it was. And they said it adds no value to the AR experience. I'm like, let me decide if I want it to be value. I'm making it. But anyways, so I just took out that text and it was approved. This, you can pretty much do whatever and it's approved. I've had a couple denied. I did one for Mimosa Day, and it was because violated policies or something, which makes sense. This one, but what actually inspired all of this, for me to kind of switch gears, like I said in the beginning of me doing this, as opposed to the other thing I had planned, was when I got the notification of, I think it's this one. I have 2 duplicates, which is another story. Okay. Now these insights are 2 days behind. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to here. Okay. So I got the notification this morning that, it said, Hawking Data Nerdette has over 10,000 views. We can't wait to see what else you create. Okay, and that's a notification from Snapchat. This data is 2 days behind, and it shows, you can see the graph, per the days, but I want this one, sorry. Select that particular filter. Okay, so this chart is 2 days behind. It's the 25th and today's the 27th. So I got the notification said over 10,000 plays. This total plays is showing 4,400. I'm assuming based off the information that I have that it's had a bit of a spike. Let's see, plays or views. Let me read that again. Views. Okay, so that would be this number. So it's had a decent spike over the past couple of days since this has been up. Since this is, like I said, a couple of days behind, and it's been shared and it's been favored 35 times. That's cool. And like I said, this is 2 days behind. This is 2 days behind because I did it as a community lens. They just recently started giving these really awesome insights, which I love seeing the free community lens. They do not give quite as much data and as much detailed data as the paid lens, which makes sense, got to make money. But I was super psyched when I saw that they were able to see this stuff, because before you couldn't see this. It was you saw how many people played it or views or something, but it wasn't a whole lot. But now you can actually see, again, this is just for this one. Hawking Data Nerdette, can't talk. Hawk that. you can see like the demographics, 79% women, 21% men. And remember, this was all inspired for the Women in Analytics Conference. Let's see. Most of them are in the 13 to 17-year-old demographics, which makes sense. Which is kind of curious, though, that there's that many people interested. That's interesting. There's some. The other second highest looks like around the 35 age, maybe a little higher. Okay, but anyways, you can see it gives me data, and it gives me between the sexes. And I'm happy to see that's more United States now. It used to be like majority it was like India and then United States, but for some reason it's starting to pick up more in the United States. But I have seen some articles and reports that Snapchat is having a good quarter. So I don't know how all that comes into play together, but you can see some of their interests, which is also helpful whenever you're if you're targeting to a specific audience. So I guess the point of today's Tip Tuesday is that build something, have fun with it. It doesn't have to be super, super complicated. Let me show you before I log off here. Let me show you one of the more popular ones that was so simple. Be brave. Okay. Don't remember when I made it. It's been a few weeks, maybe a couple months. Looks like 6/28, so a little over a month, about a month. Okay, it's been about a month. No, that's the last 28 days. Sorry. All time. Does it give me... Looks like still about a month. Okay. June 28th is what it looks like. But you can see all time it's had over 23,000 plays, over 24,000 views, 125 shares, and 3 favorites. And what's interesting about that is the fact, it was, the seeds got India first and then the United States. It was like almost as a whim that I made that one. And it was so simple. It was another template. It wasn't this template, but it was another, I just added a backdrop and that's it. That's all I did. And maybe it's the message. Maybe it's a message that you want to create to, share with people, to inspire people. Maybe it's an event that you're looking forward to, back to school season, back to school shopping that you're wanting to share, whatever it is. The point of this, I guess, Tip Tuesday is to make something. Take a template and then make it your own and then publish it and then just see what happens. Everything I did here is absolutely free. Canva, I do have the paid version of Canva, but there's a free version of Canva. You can do that with the free version too. There's some limitations on the free version, but there's something that you can't, don't worry about that. Canva's great. Use Canva or whatever other tool that you like. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And if you have one more in-depth tips on how to use Lens Studio, let me know that as well if you want, whatever. Thank you, guys.